Imagine holding the key to complete freedom, a life where no one's opinion controls you, where you don't fear rejection, and where your inner peace is unshakable. But how do you get there? In a world constantly trying to influence your decisions, distract you, and pull you away from your true path, how would you handle that pressure? What if the real key to unlocking your full potential is focusing on yourself? This is the wisdom that Buddhism offers, a path to rise above external noise and live a life of peace, clarity, and self-mastery. Welcome to today's video, where we'll explore 10 profound lessons from Buddhism that can help you let go of other people's opinions and take control of your own happiness, peace, and life direction. These lessons will show you how to focus inward, become resilient to external distractions, and live more authentically. Let's dive into it. 1. Stop relying on others for your happiness. What if I told you that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else? As the Buddha once said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This powerful teaching means that true happiness is something that originates inside you. It's not based on what others say, do, or think. It's based on your relationship with yourself. Think about how often we depend on external sources for our happiness. We seek approval, praise, and affection, believing that if others like us or compliment us, we'll feel good about ourselves. But what happens when that validation doesn't come? We feel disappointed, frustrated, and even worthless. By relying on others for happiness, we essentially give them control over our emotions. This can leave us feeling powerless and constantly searching for something outside of ourselves to fill that void. Buddhism teaches us to shift our focus inward. Instead of waiting for others to make us happy, we need to find contentment within ourselves. This requires self-awareness, acceptance, and the ability to appreciate the present moment. By practicing gratitude for what we already have and learning to be comfortable with who we are, we build a strong foundation of inner peace that no one can take away from us. True freedom comes when we realize that we hold the key to our own happiness. Number 2, don't fear being alone. It's where you find true power. Here's a question: do you fear being alone? For many people, solitude can feel uncomfortable, even frightening. But what if being alone was actually your greatest source of strength? Buddha said, meditate, live purely, be quiet, do your work with mastery. These words emphasize that solitude is not something to avoid, but something to embrace. In a world filled with constant distractions, we rarely get the opportunity to sit quietly with our thoughts. We're always surrounded by noise, whether it's from social media, work, or our personal relationships. But solitude offers us the space to reflect, grow, and understand ourselves on a deeper level. When you spend time alone, you gain clarity on your thoughts, emotions, and desires. This self-awareness is essential for personal growth and emotional healing. Instead of relying on the company of others for comfort or validation, learn to be your own best companion. In those quiet moments of solitude, you can meditate, focus on your personal development, and tap into a well of inner wisdom that will guide you through life. By embracing alone time, you'll find that your inner power grows stronger, helping you navigate life with more confidence and clarity. Number 3, quit seeking approval from everyone. One of the most common traps we fall into is seeking approval from others. How many times have you caught yourself wondering, what will they think of me? Or will they like what I said or did? Buddha reminds us that you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. This powerful teaching highlights that the only approval you need is your own. We spend so much of our lives trying to please others, seeking their validation in the form of compliments, likes, or acceptance. But the problem with seeking external approval is that it takes the power away from you and places it in the hands of others. When you constantly seek validation from others, you start to lose sight of your own worth. You let others control how you feel about yourself. Buddhism encourages us to focus on self-acceptance rather than the opinions of others. You don't need anyone's approval to be worthy of love, kindness, and respect. You deserve to feel good about yourself simply because you exist. The more you practice giving yourself the love and validation you need, the less you'll depend on others to provide it. This not only leads to greater self-confidence, but also frees you from the stress and disappointment that comes from trying to meet other people's expectations. And 4, don't let rejection break you. Rejection is a natural part of life. But how often do we take it personally and let it affect our self-worth? Buddha teaches that rejection doesn't define you. As he wisely said, in the end, only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. This teaching is profound because it reminds us that letting go is a key part of finding peace. Instead of seeing rejection as a failure, Buddhism encourages us to view it as an opportunity for growth and redirection. Sometimes rejection is life's way of steering you towards something better. When you stop taking rejection personally, you free yourself from unnecessary pain. Letting go gracefully allows you to move forward with your life and opens the door to new opportunities. The key is to remember that rejection doesn't define your worth. It's just a stepping stone on your journey to something greater. Number 5. Stop fearing what others think of you. How often do you change your actions or behavior based on what others might think? The fear of judgment can be paralyzing, leading us to conform and suppress our true selves. But Buddha reminds us, let none find fault with others. Let none see the omissions and commissions of others. But let one see one's own acts, done and undone. This teaching encourages us to stop worrying about the opinions of others and focus on our own actions and personal growth. Other people's judgments are more about them than about you. What someone thinks of you is out of your control, and letting their opinions shape your life will only drain your energy. When you stop fearing what others think, you unlock a sense of freedom. You no longer have to pretend or suppress who you really are. Instead, you can live authentically and focus on your own path. Remember, you are not responsible for how others perceive you. The only thing that matters is how you see yourself. Number 6. Stop sacrificing your peace to please others. Have you ever found yourself bending over backward to make someone else happy, only to feel drained and unfulfilled in the process? Buddha teaches that peace of mind is far more valuable than trying to meet everyone's expectations. He said, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Many of us fall into the habit of people-pleasing. Whether it's at work, with friends, or even in our families, we often prioritize other people's needs over our own. But the truth is, no matter how hard you try, you can never fully satisfy everyone. This constant effort to please others will only lead to exhaustion and stress. Buddhism encourages us to find balance. Yes, we should act with kindness and compassion, but not at the expense of our own peace. It's okay to set boundaries and say no when necessary. When you prioritize your own inner peace, you'll be able to live more authentically and give from a place of strength rather than sacrifice. 7. Focus on what you can control, yourself. We often get frustrated because we try to control things that are beyond our reach. Whether it's people, situations, or outcomes, we want everything to go exactly as planned. But Buddha teaches that clinging to what we can't control only causes suffering. He said, rule your mind or it will rule you. The only thing you truly have control over is yourself, your actions, thoughts, and reactions. You can't control how others behave or what they think, but you can control how you respond to them. Buddhism encourages us to focus on mastering our own minds. When you learn to control your thoughts and emotions, you gain a sense of power over your life. This mindset shift leads to a calmer and more content life. Instead of wasting energy trying to change others, focus that energy inward. Ask yourself how you can improve, how you can react better, and how you can find peace within. By focusing on what you can control, you build resilience and become less affected by external chaos. 8. Realize that people are focused on their own lives. We often worry that others are constantly watching and judging us, but the truth is, most people are too absorbed in their own lives to focus on us. Buddha said, your work is to discover your world, and then with all your heart, give yourself to it. This teaching reminds us that we each have our own unique path to follow, and people are primarily focused on their own challenges and dreams. When you realize that people aren't thinking about you as much as you imagine, it's incredibly freeing. You no longer have to waste energy trying to live up to other people's expectations. Instead, you can focus on living authentically and pursuing your passions without the constant fear of judgment. This understanding also builds empathy. Everyone is dealing with their own struggles, insecurities, and challenges. By recognizing this, you can let go of the fear of judgment and live more freely. 9. Don't get caught up in social comparison. One of the biggest traps in modern society is the habit of comparing ourselves to others. Whether it's through social media, at work, or in our personal lives, we often measure our success and happiness against what others have. But Buddha teaches that comparison leads to suffering. He said, "Health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth." When we focus on what others have, we lose sight of our own blessings. Constantly comparing yourself to others creates feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and discontentment. Buddhism encourages us to practice gratitude and contentment for what we already have. True happiness doesn't come from having more than others. It comes from appreciating the life you have. By letting go of comparison and embracing gratitude, you free yourself from the endless cycle of competition and find peace in your own journey. 10. Prioritize inner growth over external validation. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need to seek validation from others. Whether it's through social media likes, compliments from coworkers, or approval from family members, we often measure our worth based on how others view us. But Buddha teaches that true peace and happiness come from within. He said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." External validation is fleeting, it's temporary and conditional. But when you focus on inner growth, you cultivate lasting fulfillment. By practicing mindfulness, self-awareness, and compassion, you strengthen your inner self and build resilience. You no longer need others' opinions to define your worth because you have created a solid foundation of inner peace and confidence. Prioritizing inner growth over external validation allows you to live authentically. Instead of constantly seeking approval from others, you can focus on becoming the best version of yourself, guided by your own values and inner wisdom. Final thoughts. These 10 Buddhist lessons teach us how to break free from the influence of others' opinions and reclaim our own happiness, peace, and sense of self. By shifting your focus inward and practicing mindfulness, self-awareness, and compassion, you can build a life where external noise no longer controls your emotions or decisions. Remember, the key to true freedom lies within you. By embracing these lessons and making peace with yourself, you unlock a life of authenticity, resilience, and lasting happiness.